Yo, what is up guys? It's the Goblin and welcome back to another Fortnite Battle Royale tips and tricks video. In tonight's video, I'm going to be analyzing these two victory royales that I got that were a little bit different. The first one where I get the majority of the kills towards the end of the game, and the second gameplay where I get the majority of the kills towards the early game at Tilted Towers or Neo Tilted. Hopefully you guys will enjoy this video. Going to basically just analyze each of these fights that happened here in Fortnite and talk about the positive moves that I made and the things that I did wrong and could have corrected differently as well. So drop a like on this thing. Let's go ahead and go for 620 likes. If we could hit that, that would be awesome. Subscribe to the channel if you guys are new and not already subscribed. Smack a like. Let's go for 620. I just woke up, if you guys are wondering why my voice might sound a little bit different. I don't know. I don't usually do my commentaries at 9:30 a.m. Usually I'm not even awake at this time. I'm more of like a late night grinder, but you guys probably know that. Anyway, smack a like, subscribe, and let's get right into it. So first gameplay here, you can see I'm leaving Tilted Towers with just 2 kills, but I am leaving with a blue pump. And the blue pump is, I talk a lot about being able to use every single shotgun and being comfortable with every single shotgun so that you can pick the best one for that opportunity. You saw there early game how I was able to use the tactical shotgun, and then I was able to basically use the blue tack, but then when I saw that blue pump, I picked that up, especially when you combo the blue pump with, usually the blue pump is a weapon where it's like, boom, you try to crack them for a big hit, and then you either go for a wall and build defensively, or you go for sort of a W key, or as it's known for PC players, and spray them down with either your AR or your SMG. So you can see here, 3 kills, 14 left. This was a game where I did go to Tilted, but I wasn't able to get that many kills, just probably based on the bus route, where enemies are landing, or things like that. So I realized I'm at a slot where I'm doing really good, and I have, full health, and I have a bunch of shields ready to go. This guy, of course, was going for this right there, so I'm going to go for this fight. He was going for the vending machine. Now, he cracks me right there for 75, so I'm going to pause, and I'm going to try to sort of box up, which is the smart move here. I'm 150. I want to sort of buy time at this point and try to use this 50 pot. That's generally the idea. Anyway, another player, I think, ends up showing up here, and I get distracted, and so does this guy for a second, and he basically comes into my 1-by-1. Luckily, I'm able to crack him with the shotgun. Only hit him for 40, though, which is what can happen when you're using the pump. You can, if you don't hit them straight on, or you don't hit those as many pellets as you want, it can be a weak sort of shot. Luckily, I switched to the SMG, which for me, the SMGs are, for switching from like a pump shotgun, I think they're better than the drum gun. Like, it just seems like it's really, really quick to finish off enemies. Of course, there's another player right here. So what I do is I make sure I heal up, and then I go and I try to get high ground right away. Kind of a little bit slow on getting away from that gas grenade right there. Honestly, I should have, for the stink bomb, I should have just moved away instead of trying to edit out of the box. Could just move to the other side of the box. So anyway, I'm taking my time here. I'm going to heal up, and then I'm going to go for this next fight. I know this player is below me. I am, I guess, a little bit worried about having high ground right here because of the fact that I don't have a glider redeploy, but I always know that I can get down, and we are near the slipstream. Anyway, I hit this guy for some damage, so I'm going to pursue, try to go for the kill, and this player ends up falling and dying to fall damage, which ends up sort of being like a free kill for me. I guess it wasn't completely free, but all I had to do was hit him a couple times with the SMG, and that's because of those changes we got a couple patches ago where like, it's so forgiving now. If you do damage to someone in the storm, or you damage someone and then they fall off, getting that kill credit, it used to be so unforgiving with that. Next player right here, this guy's trying to play on this like beach ball thing here, and he was using it sort of as I guess like not really a head glitch, but sort of side glitching it. This guy ends up trying to make a run for it, and I have to make the decision at this point. Do I want to chase this guy? Of course, I don't want to use my jump pad because I want to save that for late game, especially judging by the fact that I don't have the glider redeploy. So I decided to use his jump pad to follow up. Right here, I let a shot go through my builds, which is sort of just unlucky. This will happen. I mean, it ends up for 20-something damage. Right here, shotgun, boom. I don't hit him for a straight-on big damage headshot, but I do some significant damage there. And then I, of course, go after the shotgun shot, build, and then a shotgun shot again. And that's how you have to play it with the pump. Like I said earlier, you have to make your decision of either going defense or offense straight after using that weapon. It's not like the combat or the attack where you can be a little more friendly and a little more undeciding with what you want to do. Right here, I have a situation where this guy down below me has to move up this mountain, and I realize pretty much this is almost guaranteed to be a free kill because of how, like, I have an RPG also. This guy is trying to run up this mountain. It looks pretty bad for this player, and even though there's other players over there in a position where I'd probably rather better position to be. I want to hang out here and I want to stay on this edge just so I can make sure I can do some damage to this player or get this kill. Now, eventually, I realized this guy doesn't have to come up the whole mountain, which is kind of unfortunate for me, kind of fortunate for him. He is actually running around the mountain, so I want to chase this player down just because I know this player is weak, not only from my green AR bullets, but also from the storm. So that's sort of what I want to do, be able to take this player out. But I do realize this guy is sort of building down there. So if I want to go for this kill, it's a huge commitment. And if I had the glider redeploy and a bunch of mats, I probably would have gone for that. But because I have, how much mats right now? Like 1,200. And I realized there was another enemy up here anyway. I'm like, yeah, let's go for this guy instead, right? It's probably a better position to be in anyway. And I'm able to take out that player with fairly easily from a distance because it looked like he didn't have too much health. So at this position, I'm really in a good spot for endgame. You can see how most of my kills really didn't come out of that tilted tower. There's only 2 of them, but now I'm in that great position for endgame, and I decide to swap out and go with the glider redeploy just because I realize, hey, I'm up on a mountain and I have, I don't have the most amount of mats, but I have a decent amount of mats. I get some good shots in on this player, and I'm like, I'm trying to get this kill right here. This guy seems to be decent, at least with the way he's editing in and building into the storm, but I'm of course keeping up as much as shots as I can with the AR. Both these players are very similar in positions right now, and I realize that there's 3 people left, so me and then 2 enemies down there. I sort of just want to chill and then glide off into the zone, but then I realized it was 17 seconds left. I'm 150. Maybe if I can make a quick maneuver, grab this package. I mean, there's not too much, risk of me falling. Of course, I don't want to lose free high ground, like I fell right there, but I can't die because I have the glider redeploy as long as I don't forget to pop it. So I run over here to try to look for a 50 pot, which I think was the right decision because I had to sort of rotate that way anyway. There is no 50 pot, so I just play the angles here and make sure now it's a 1v1. Try to get this player as he's moving in, and this is the great thing about the glider, just the rotations like this. Sure, they do make you sort of an easy target as that guy sort of misses the shots. Perfect time right there in the commentary, but you are an easy target, kind of. It depends. Make sure you're popping that low to the ground like I did with the glider redeploy. If you pop that high up in the air, you're absolutely screwed. Anyway, this guy goes for the high ground. I try to get some shots down to knock him down, which eventually works, but I do take some damage. Take my time and just heal up with a mini. It's always nice to have minis for those 1v1 fights at the end, just because they're so, like minis are awesome because it's so quick to pop. You can get right back up. Either minis or slurps are awesome for fights because you can really, with a slurp, pop it and buy time, and with the mini, just pop them real quick and get back to action. Anyway, here I'm just trying to maintain high ground until I see my angle. Boom, right there, blue pump, and I'm able to finish it off for the victory royale. So that game, I was able to use patience to make smart decisions and sort of use the blue pump to the best of its ability, although a lot of my kills were even with the AR at distance. Next gameplay here, and smack that like for that first gameplay. Next gameplay here is where I pop off a little bit more early game. You can see here I got the purple combat, and I believe this was probably before they nerfed the combat a little bit. So I'm starting off in Tilted, and a good thing about Tilted is it's always a little bit hard to get materials, especially, it's not like the old Tilted Towers where there was just those stacks of wood laying around. There are some, but it's not the same. So hitting those sort of trees and bushes right outside of this building is very important. Right here, big damage on that guy, hit him for like 180 right there. So of course I'm going to pursue this and boom, hop around the corner and smack them for 130 with that combat right there. Early game when it comes down to it, and this was also on the day where that like tactical SMG was coming back or whatever for the days of summer. But this is where with the combat you can see like just chasing people down early game, and boom, right there, 120 to the head again. Always aiming for the head with shotguns is so damn important. Even with one that I think at the time of recording this is at a 1.7 times headshot multiplier, 1.5 times now, but it is still very important. And with maneuvering around these buildings, the thing that I think is very important to stress is to have your gun up and to have your sort of sights ready or your crosshair ready for those headshots, to know what you're going for, but to also be able to maneuver and use builds to buy time or protect yourself when you are in those intense buildings, because a lot of the fights that you get in this early game are completely different different. I mean, these are fights that you're watching right here, early game inside buildings, not build fights with a combat shotgun, that are pretty much completely different from the fights we had in that first game, which were out in the open more towards the mid to end game with the pump shotgun. So, you know, it's very, very different, although the ARs are similar on sort of what you have to worry about. So right here, early game, I get 2 kills, and unlike last game, there are some more people here, and I have a great inventory, so I want to keep up the pressure or the momentum building off of that. Right here, basically come in on a third party. I'm able to take out 1 player, and I'm trying to track and figure out where any other players are at this location, because I know there's got to be some more people around Tilted Towers. Right here, boom, hit this guy for not too much damage, but I'm going to build across and immediately go for the pressure. And the way that I'm not hesitating here is very important, because this isn't a 1v1 at the end game. This is early game Tilted Towers. There's 43 people still left, and when people hear shots or action at Tilted, they're probably making a move. So right here, this guy is using building, you know, he's trying to use building to block me off, which was a smart idea. Of course, he kind of ends up blocking himself off there. A little bit of an awkward fight with the shotguns. And when that happens, of course, if you don't have, even if you do have a spraying weapon that's just like a SCAR or an AR, it is nice to switch to sometimes. Here we go. I'm getting pressured on by another player. I have the chug splashes, which are really, really good for getting nice heals up. And I want to get off of that staircase because I just won a gunfight there, but it was really awkward. It was more of a 50-50 fight than I really wanted it to be. So this guy pushes me, of course. I use an edit, and we exchange sort of shots with the shotgun, and that's how it works. Like I say, it's a little bit different, the fights, than you're going to take on with a combat than with a pump. So that fight, I did end up, you know, sort of exchanging. It was sort of a one-on-one gunfight. I had the combat, though. I made the edit play. They had the drum shotgun, so I did have the advantage in that fight. And then I believe here I hear another player up on the high ground, and I'm just keeping the momentum going. You know, I don't have any reason to worry right now. I'm 150 health, which of course isn't ideal. Right here, jump up, shotgun, and then catch yourself. Very, very important play to know how to do. It is the Tfue special, one that Tfue's been doing for a long, long time and has made pretty famous. Jumping up, shotgun, and then catching yourself. That's how I started off that gunfight, and I was able to hit him for a big amount of damage. And then after that, it was just pretty easy to maintain the high ground and take out the enemies. So right here, leaving Tilted Towers with 6 kills. And this was a weird game because I don't really remember what happened. It was a little bit ago, but I think I was probably going for high kills. I mean, I was playing here on my second account, high rushing, but maybe I ended up not finding anyone, or I was just sort of playing casually. I don't really remember, but we ended up making it to late game, and I had 7 kills, which is kind of low. You'd think I would probably get more, but we end up going to late game where there's 3 people left, and here is how we're able to end it off. Now, and this is a game where I don't have the glider redeploy towards the end, so I'm keeping my eye on that and making sure that I have enough mats to hopefully get down from high ground if needed. And you know, because the glider redeploy would usually be the way for that, like I did last game, but now I'd have to actually manually build myself a ladder down. So I'm still trying to maintain high ground. Not having glider redeploy is not enough for me to ignore having high ground. Anyway, I realized right there the third player left dies, so it's a 1v1, and my mats are coming down. I have like 400, 500, so I drop down and try to go for the play. Unfortunately, I missed the shot, and that kind of puts me in a bad position because this guy comes around on the side angle, gets the shot in on me, and I realize at this point, oh my goodness, I need to start maintaining high ground over this player, but also healing up, which thank goodness for the chug splashes are good for, a bit faster than even the minis. But then I end up like sort of sliding off my builds there, running low on materials, and then sliding off another build here. So I made the right decision to push this player early. However, it didn't work out, which ended up putting me in a pretty bad spot here, but I don't panic because I realize even though they have the high ground over me, they have to keep pushing to me because that's the way the zone was going. So I didn't panic. I realized all I had to do was look up and sort of just spray them down, knock them down to me, and then shotgun them. But as I'm about to do that, that player ends up dying to the storm, of course, because the zone was pushing, and we were able to win that game. So hopefully you guys did enjoy this video. Hopefully it will help you guys with watching what I did in each of the engagements and watching my decision making and how I was able to win those gunfights and stuff like that. Smack a like, subscribe. I'll catch you on the next one, and that's about it. I'm out. Peace.